and
This looks familiar.
about midday is when you guys are at, and the outside temperatures are probably in the realm of like 120, 130. So it's cooking pretty good, but the car kind of comes to a stop at the top of a ridge, and you see Chet kind of lean over. All right, let's get the area kind of spread and gridded out, and you kind of sees Stitch already kind of jumping up onto like the middle area, and he's like quicks like pulls out his data slate and starts tapping, and you see like the display shifting really fast, and he like now like kind of has like an overhead look like immediately right on top of the car. You see from like 3 different directions, and it looks like from cameras up there, and you see them all of a sudden you see him like triple tap, and like you hear kind of dull thuds as 3 objects kind of leave, and you see that the cameras seem to be attached to some sort of drones of some kind.
See, I'd like to have a whole fleet of something like that.
And he's like, his Stitch kind of looks back. My own design. They're
Who he thinks he is?
pretty weather resistant. I'm not one to brag, but I mean, you guys pretty alright too, I guess. And he.
You hear that, Buzz? He complimented you. What do you say?
Thank you.
No, you tell him to go fuck himself, or to go chat himself, whatever the context may be.
Go chat yourself, and you hear
Hey.
Chet up the front.
There you go.
Sorry, what? And he.
Yeah, pay him no mind. That's something between us, yeah.
Okay. Well, those will be able to circle the immediate area. They're going to be scanning for anything. This is just going to be, cursory look, but at least this will get us going in the right direction. Do you know kind of where they might have gone at all, or like if they had any ways of like surviving out here?
To the second question, they probably didn't. And to the first one, they went wherever adventure lies.
That seems about right. No,
That seems like, Carl. That seems like a very poor choice of, decisions one after the other. But I guess to each their own. But
judging the judges. Yeah, like those are the 2 answers I had for that question.
no, I know. Carl seems very like abrupt and
You're kind of grumpy.
yeah. After a while, you see that the images are kind of the cameras are switching from like different modes of like observation. Like the cameras change. Looks like it seems to be like EM, different forms of like thermal, and eventually you do see like one kind of like sort of like the screen kind of displays a little bit, and it shows heading off in a different direction of where you guys had approached kind of in a very wide berth from the sheer, but eventually you guys got into the area, and it looks like there's actually a smaller rock formation that you guys had originally gone to.
That's where we looked. Around that area.
Wait, you guys actually went there?
Yeah. Well, we saw it from afar.
Okay, well, that ain't the sheer. Otherwise, I mean, we'd probably be neck deep in bloodthirsty Vesk and who knows what else. But I feel like that's probably somewhere that they've at least been. So, well, let's hit it then, I guess.
Okay.
And you see he just lays on the controls and kind of lurches forward. You guys eventually get to that area, and the vehicle comes to a rest, and you hear just kind of the low wind that it's always been kind of like constant. Now like you've stopped, and it's, from the displays you see it's probably about like 50 feet or so from the giant rock formation, which actually looks, now that you've seen it, less like just a natural formation and almost sort of like Colosseum, kind of broken and shattered in various parts, and like you see like some of it is like partially kind of fallen over, but you don't see any signs of activity as you're now like kind of just looking and waiting Chet kind of scratches his chin a little bit. It's like, all right, well, we'll scout it out a little bit, but I've got a feeling they probably, if they are here, either they're really good at laying a trap, or they just might have lucked out.
Do you have anybody that's stealthy in your group?
He kind of looks back at Twitch. Zai is pretty, for his size.
Is that your Catharsis?
Yeah, and he kind of like leans forward, and he's kind of, at this point, he's got like his two top arms that are just kind of like resting up there, and he's been watching the display the whole time. And he kind of looks, and Chet's like, all right, well, you're up. And
I'll go with you, Mr. Sai.
Kind of looks at you once, gives you a quick nod, steps out. You hear the wind kind of.
Okay, environmental protections, and I'm out too.
All right. So as you exit the vehicle, it's pretty, for the desert, a kind of flat approach. There does seem to be kind of a two long grooves cut into the side. They seem very weather worn. There's one kind of closer to you, about 50 feet, and then another like 100 feet to your right. And as he steps out, you see the Kasathas draw a similar long arm rifle to yours, and he kind of, like charges around and looks at you, and
I'll pop mine out and undo it, unfurl it. Yep.
And he kind of motions just for, he like taps your chest and like kind of points to the close one, and he taps himself and he points at the other one.
Okay, I'll go to the close one then.
All right. So you approach it quietly.
I approach it as stealthily as I can.
Stealthy as you can. The wind's picked up pretty good, so there's like a kind of slight sand kind of veil that's kind of crisscrossing the area. So go ahead and give me a stealth check.
Who's is bigger, his or the sophistic gun?
It looks like they're just about the same size, but his is slightly a little bit longer. Now that he's kind of fully.
Yeah, mine. Yeah.
He like extends his like.
Yeah.
Goes one more, and you're like, yeah.
Mine just has a little.
Yeah, a tiny little like one.
And if I wanted to, I could like unscrew the. Like a little
No, I can go bigger.
Mine was 15.
This is what it means
Nice.
to go even further beyond.
So you approach, and the sand kicking up and kind of having small dervishes, kind of the sound definitely masks your approach. And as you're approaching, go ahead and give me a perception check as well.
That's on 16. Perception +7.
+7.
So
Okay.
16.
23.
Perception
23.
+7.
All right. You're able to, kind of knife your way through some of the lower sand dunes, keeping very low. As you look to your right, you see that the Kasathas has covered that ground in just about the same amount of time as you've covered yours. And he's keeping real low, but he's moving really fast. And eventually, he kind of gets to the area a little bit after you, and you look down this groove, which is about probably 10 feet wide, and it seems to extend upwards in like probably about 30 feet before it kind of tapers off, and you see it kind of like slants down very quickly, and it looks like whatever previously was here was like a hallway of some kind, but like the top portion either was eroded away or something else, but you see that it extends inward probably about 20 to 30 feet before it branches off.
Crap. We have to split up. I'll talk to him telepathically. Like, is he near me?
He's probably about 100 feet away.
But
You can still see him. He's kind of like set up in that similar kind of groove, and he's now kind of like looked in your direction, and he seems to be kind of like waiting on your call.
Yeah. What do you say? Which one looks like, with my perception? Which one looks more traveled?
With your perception, you notice that the sand really banks up initially in this little area, but it kind of tapers off as the wind kind of loses its momentum. And with the light still giving you a little bit of vision in there, you do see that it seems like the ground is more leveled off than the one that goes in and to the right.
Okay. I'll just say telepathically, we both go to the right.
And kind of, you see from this distance, he kind of gives kind of a quick kind of nod and like a like wave of the hand as he turns and moves into his hallway.
I got your 6, or I got your back.
Okay. All right. So you make your way very slowly down the hallway. Kind of check out the left-hand side. It looks like it goes about 10 feet, and then looks like whatever hallway was there kind of got a rock formation kind of collapsed on it, and it ends short.
Good call on my end.
And you look you kind of like get to the edge, and you kind of look down to the right, and you see that it kind of extends inward. It looks like it was almost a interior kind of no an interior hallway that seemed to wrap around this structure, as you kind of see in the very kind of distant kind of like light that's extending into that hallway intersection, what appears to be the just beginnings of like him just dipping in and kind of looking, and you see like it extends back to his right, but then like in about half the distance between the two of you, there's a singular hallway that goes off to your now like left further in.